ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem, performed this afternoon by Peter Griffin and his dirt bike.
Hey, this is Ryan Villapodi, and listen to DMXS Radio.
All right, guys, welcome back to DMXS Radio. Appreciate you guys tuning in. As always, thank our sponsors, RacerX, MX Sports, W Wheels, OGO Concept, Two Rowers, and, of course, Dunlop Tires, the best tires in the business, including the new Geomax Factory Spec Tire. Make sure you guys check them out at Ride Dunlop. And now it's time for one of our favorite guests of all time, Malcolm Stewart. Welcome back, Malcolm.
Hey, how we doing?
Man, we are doing awesome. Is Mookie gone? Nobody calls you Mookie anymore.
No, that's still around.
Okay, I mean, it's almost like I've never called you Mookie. I've always called you Malcolm. It seems like everybody refers to you as Malcolm, so it's almost like it's like James to Bubba. It's like that was like when you were a kid or something.
Yeah, no, I mean, I still get at the races. People say Mookie. You still see people that say Predator. I mean, people call me all kinds of names, but I guess that's a good thing, right?
Yeah,
that's a good thing.
Yeah, as long as it's not profane, you're doing something right.
That's right. That's how I look at it.
Hey, did Alden give you guys just the whole week off to eat whatever you wanted and just sit around, eat hot dogs and drink beer all week?
Man, I wish I could. But no, we get random weigh-ins, so I gotta stay tight on the program for sure.
Dang, and you know he's going to drop one of those on the off week too. You just know he's going to do a random weigh-in on the off week.
Oh, we do random weigh-in off week. During the season, it don't matter. There's always a weigh-in sometime during that week, so that's the problem. You know, you never know when it's going to happen. You just know it's going to happen at some point.
Hey, does he do it like all public, like everybody stands around and you have to be accountable to everybody?
I mean, he definitely he writes down every week, you know, so the whole idea you know me, I'm just the fat guy on the group, right? That's what he always tells me. I'm just the biggest guy on the group, right? And he's just like he's always standing over the scale. Like, you know, you get RJ or Plessinger or whatever, they'll stand on the scale and he'll just say, you know, I'm, you know, whatever the number, 150 or whatever.
Yeah.
I get on the scale and he stands over me to make sure I ain't lying. You know, I was like, come on, man, where to trust that?
You know what killed is when they started making super tight gear. That was like, in my day, it was loose fitting. You could get away with it. Now everything is like painted on. You can't get away with shit when it comes to being overweight or having a little love handle.
No, absolutely not. You know, I always try to say, you know, I said the one thing I do miss bringing back is I'm about to start bringing back remember the little the elbow guards?
Yes.
Because I always feel like that's the first thing as a racer, man. You just know it's going to be that under that skin right there on that elbow is going to be gone at one point. You just know it's going to happen. So I was like, I'm going to bring back elbow guards.
Hey, chest protectors and elbow guards. I grew up riding with those, that and kidney belts. So, dude, I'm all for bringing back anything old school for sure.
Well, the amount of jumps that we're jumping, I'm going to be in a kidney belt here soon.
Damn.
Jesus, next thing you know, it went from, back in the day doing doubling the rhythm section every lap was a big deal. Now it's like, then it went from my James are like, all right, somebody pull out the quad here and there, one or two guys. Now it's like, if you don't do the quad, you're not getting even close to top 15.
No, it's
like then, you may make the night show. It's just like, man, the evolution that has changed. And, I sit back and say, not to get you off subject here, but I bring it back a race at Phoenix this year, right? That was a pretty big jump, jumping across the whole start straight like that.
Huge.
Was really big. And I'm just like, in track walk, every time I do track walk, I'm like, yeah, we're not doing that. There's no way we're going to do that. Boom. Somebody busted out first practice. I'm just like, God, man, like now, and the mechanic puts on the pit board, quad, I'm just like, man, this is why they need to slow these motorcycles down so we can't do this stuff.
I know. And then some smart ass punk kid on a 250 will do it. So you have to do it on a 450.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I'm just like, man, it's kind of crazy and to be quite fair, there is some bikes out there that can do on the 250 that can do jumps bigger than a 450 with just being that. But
right.
I don't know, man. It's I sit back and think about it all the time, just like either I'm getting old or getting scared, or just these motorcycles just really could do it nowadays.
Hey, you might be like Wyndham, where you just come in from one practice, you're like, screw it, I'm done. I'm not jumping that.
There's been plenty of times I come in the mechanics area and they're like, hey, you gotta jump this. I'm like, what? They're like, yeah, they're doing it. I'm just like, gosh, man, like I really don't want to do this, man. Like it's just like, gosh, like, and I think the hardest thing is a lot is usually, sometimes it's a lot easier to time like a jump if you're going to do a quad or so. If you're going to do a quad and that's at the end of the rhythm. Well, worst case scenario, you over jump it, the turn's there, right?
Right. But
it's when you have to do a quad in the middle of a rhythm section. So the big bikes are so capable of over jumping things.
Right.
And that's why I feel like a 250 is a lot easier because usually it's kind of like wide open,
maxed
right? You
out.
can just feel it.
Yeah.
Where it's like 450, it's like you're more worried about over jumping things.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. So it definitely, it's the name of the game. It's definitely tricky, but it is what it is.
Hey, and if you're not jumping a 70-foot quad, you're jumping into rutted whoops at like Indy, like literally jumping into whoops where you have no idea where your front and back tire is going to go.
Yeah, no, that's and splitting riders as you're doing it.
Yeah,
so, yeah. The level of evolution is definitely tricky, and Indy was a really, really tricky track last weekend. It always has been. It's always that type of dirt. There's no way around it.
You know what? That's one of those races where I'm kind of glad that when everybody gets out of it, because it's one of those ones that we watch, like even with Sabachi and stuff. It just you think that's okay. We're 16 minutes into the main. Everybody's going to be okay. Then it just starts reaching up and grabbing people. That's one of those ones I like to put in my rearview mirror for the season.
Yeah, I mean, to be quite fair, like even I had a couple big ones in that race that. Like kind of like what happened to Joey, what happened to Joey wasn't a lack of just a mistake. It just really it was just a track on him. Right. And that's the hard part about it. He hit the same line every time. But it's just unfortunately just probably, let's just say 15 out of the 22 guys are hitting the exact same thing. Right. And it just bit him that next lap. And that's the thing about, Indy is you start running out of options and that's, that's racing though. Right. And that's the hardest thing about Indy. Sometimes you just start running out of room and you get guys that start, you just start racing the track. And I think that's really what happened out there at Indy. It's, in myself too, I had a couple pretty big ones where, I jumping in from the wall into the whoops. Yep. My hand blew off, and then I had one where a lap rider was on the left-hand lane in the whoops, and he shot all the way to the right. Just guys that were even trying to get out of the way that couldn't get out of the way, that was just a tough track, man. It really was a tough track. But what I'm getting with this is sometimes you get in those positions where, like myself, and I can speak kind of a lot for a lot of people, was you're no longer racing the rider in front of you. You're just racing the track at this point, right?
Survival.
You're just trying to get off the track.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, that's exactly kind of what happened to me. I had some pretty big moments, and I'm like, man,
yeah,
it's not worth it. Like I know I'm sitting in, a fifth or sixth, and I'm just like, I just need to get off the track.
Yeah. Yeah. Live to fight another day. I mean, there's, you come from Daytona, which was, gets gnarly in and of itself. Then you go to that, and then you've got Birmingham. You go to, Seattle always gets wet and gets rutted up. So it's the long game. I mean, you're sitting top 5 in points, back-to-back heat race wins, your first win. I mean, this is your year. You are doing what you're supposed to do at this point. You're managing the season. Yeah.
Yeah. No, for me, like I said, I'm doing the best I can, and so far the year has been doing. So far the year has been pretty phenomenal for me since I've had a really good year like this since 2022. So, the way I'm looking, I'm just really just trying to just click off, and of course, made it in the history books. Got my first win this year in Tampa. That was one of the most definite awesome feelings, and I told myself I wanted to start winning some more heat races and try to get on the box. We're still trying to fight, to get back up there. It's just a level of competition that's out there, right? Like even when we have a few guys out there that are not racing, it's still pretty still a good stacked field, right? Yeah. And that's the crazy thing is, even when we have a few guys out of the league, it's the racing format hasn't changed much.
Yeah, that's the one thing about your win is over the last decade, it seems like our world has never been more divided. Everything, politics, world, everything. This is the one thing that united the entire sport. Is you winning was one of those things that just united all of us. All fans of all riders came together and they truly celebrated your win, which just had to be, just reinforce what you've meant to the sport since you've turned pro.
Yeah, no, it's, winning that race was a really, really, I think it was more of an inspirational type win to just the general public, and I think that's the cool thing about it is, being that underdog, I kind of felt like it was just one of those special moments that it's like a thing that anybody can relate to is like, will they be able to get it done? And more so of like when you're working at 8 to 5, right? Like that guy that works at 8 to 5 in the office and he just wanted that promotion. He just couldn't figure out how to get it.
Yeah.
And he finally got it. And like that feeling when he finally got it, it's the same feeling that I had when I won my race. It's just like, man, I can't believe like I finally did it. And all the hard work that I've done and in the past is the sacrifice. But to me, it wasn't always about, and I always kind of, everybody's like, man, how do you feel? Do you feel different? I'm like, I do, but I actually, believe it or not, I actually felt more like I took a step back and realized like how long I've been doing this racing thing. And I felt like that's a big achievement alone.
That's
right?
A win right there.
And,
yeah.
And I think that's a win to me. Like, don't get me wrong, winning the race was an awesome thing. You'll never forget that, right? But I feel like, look at the journey that you've had on the way, right? Like the memories, the highs, the lows, you could have had like, and I just think back to like how long I've been doing this for about 15 years now. It's like, dude, that's a big win alone. And all the great people I've met over the world and just relationships I had. I kind of just like take a step back and look at that, and that's a big win to me.
That's awesome. That's great inspiration and perspective too. Because I remember you telling me that you're going to race for 1 year until it gets hard. You told me that when you turned pro, you're like, if this gets too hard, I'm out. And that was like 1 year in.
Yeah, it was. I ain't gonna lie. I did say that. And I think the cool thing about my story is like, it's a story that it's not like I grew up racing, but you really think about it, like in my amateur world, it's not like you really saw me, and I think that's the cool thing about it was like, where I was, where my heart was, is it wasn't about dirt bikes. If somebody came to me and said, you're going to become a professional motorcycle racer and, you're going to win, 250 championship and meet all these people, I would have laughed. I'd be like, yeah, okay, buddy. Like, that is not on the cards. And the biggest reason why I got into motorcycle racing was because my dad said, well, if you're going to get into fishing, you got a Kawasaki card, so you need to do good on the weekends so you can earn enough for money for fishing poles. I'm like, okay,
that makes sense.
So that's why fishing never left my heart.
Yeah, that was
I was just doing, and hey, here we are. I'm still doing this today, guys. So just so everybody know, I'm just trying to race good on the weekends so I can earn enough money for the fishing. Now I'm trying to earn enough gas money for the boat.
Hey, if that's your carrot from the beginning, you've stayed true to that, because all you're doing is gas money and a bigger boat. So all your entire career, you stayed true to your inspiration, fishing.
That's right. That's right. I always crack up. So just like, man, it's been an awesome deed, and it's been a fun one. And I know I still got a lot left in the tank, but yeah, I want a bigger boat. For me to get a bigger boat, I got to twist the throttle more. That's pretty much how it works.
That's it. When did you watch the race back? Like the first time you got to see? Because I know it must have been a blur on the floor. But when did you get to see James's reaction and all that? Was it the following day, that night? When did you actually get to see the race, like as we got to see it on TV?
I honestly waited like a couple days, and I saw it that week.
Okay.
I saw like Monday after that, because I stayed up pretty late.
Yeah.
Saturday night, and just because it was such a long night, seeing family and things like that, and then I wanted to go fishing the next day too. So that was the funny part. Yeah. So that was I'm like, I'm going fishing. I remember waking up. I had my buddies. It all sounds good right then and there until you go to sleep and you got to wake up the next day.
Ouch.
And I was like, oh, we're gonna, all my boys are like, oh, we'll get on the boat. We'll just take you fishing. I'm like, yeah, I don't know now. Like I woke up. I'm like, can we just go off the jetty?
Yeah, I don't want to launch the
golf
boat.
cart, go off the jetty. And they're like, yeah, we can do whatever you want to do. So
that's awesome.
It all worked itself out. It was like I said, it was an awesome day and night. And yeah, I did watch it Monday, and I kept just rewatching and it's just a real special moment.
Well, we all heard what Big James said. What did Sonia? What did your mom say to you when you finally got a hold of her?
She was just happy, just a mom. Mom was just, she's happy either way, Yeah. I think she's more she's gonna show her emotions regardless, win, lose, it don't matter. I'm just a baby, I know she was more proud. She said she couldn't watch the race though. She started watching and she just said, I just had that feeling that you had your mind made up there. You're either going to go for it or you're going to crash. So she goes, I'm not going to watch you crash. So
wow, dude.
So when I do good, my mom freaks out and she started she was in the stands and she walked out.
Thank God. Or when Sexton went down, she might have had a heart attack because it looked like he was going to take you out too. So she's probably thinking, oh no.
Yeah, hey. For a mom, I don't know. She said I just make her nervous. So I just accept it.
That shows you how invested moms always are. All these amateur races, pro races, all that stuff, and she's still on the edge of her seat, thinking, what's going to happen, and lives and dies by that. That's very cool.
Yeah, no, mom's solid, but she's always, if I don't do good, she will definitely question me, like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
if she's questioning me, that means Dad's pissed. That's pretty much where that's at.
Yeah. Hey, people are always afraid of Big James, but I've known your family, all the way through, and Sonia, she was kind of scary too. Like, she was a no nonsense, and I mean, you could always kind of tell that she was definitely the matriarch of the family. She could, I know Big James carries the stick, but Sonia brings the thunder too.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I mean, the last thing we want to do is have Mom mad. If Mom's mad, it's a real bad day. Yeah, we're all in trouble.
Yep.
All of us. Everybody's in trouble. Yeah, no, Mom runs the show.
Yep.
we already know we'll all be lost without her. So she knows.
Hey, one of my favorite moments watching back the race is when your brother just says, "Watch this." When you enter the whoops behind Sexton before he went down, and your brother's like, "Watch this." I mean, he was that to me. He just kind of knew this was your night, and those whoops, you own those whoops, and this is where you're going to make up all that ground on Sexton. And he went back and forth between an announcer and a brother all night long, and that was a brother moment.
It was, and he even admitted it. He was like, "Man, I was sitting there," and he goes, "Everything was all cool," until he goes, "And then you got in the lead," and he was like, he goes, I couldn't talk, and it was so funny because you could hear him start kind of breaking up on the broadcast, and he was like trying to speak, but he was like, "Dude, I was having such a hard time." He goes, "You have no idea." I was like, he goes, "I'm sure you were probably feeling the same kind of thing I was," but he goes, "Man," he goes, I couldn't multitask." He goes, "There's no way."
Yeah.
He said, "I was watching you like a hawk," and he was like, "Just bring it home, out. Just bring it home."
Yeah. Well, the leader lights are new, and you've seen obviously with the heat race wins and your main win. But dude, when you're out front and it's winding down, the crowd's going crazy. You can't even hear your bike. The leader lights are lit up on your Husky. It's like that is a butt clench time. I mean, that is like, do not throw this away. Don't Plessinger this on the last lap.
No, what really gets you is the crowd.
Yeah.
When you're even last weekend, the last lap in Indy, I could hear the crowd just start cheering, and for the heat race win. And it just vibes. Like that's such a cool moment. Right. Yeah. And, the cool thing about all that is once you start, I guess I would say it's like getting that clean air, man. There's nothing better than having that clean air and all it takes is just having a couple good races like that, get you up front, and then the confident part starts coming in, and next you just try to get used to that, right? And you just want more and more of it. So it's definitely a cool moment, but yeah, I want to get back up there for sure.
You know what? You look at some of the riders, like you and a Kevin Windham, which are like always like if we voted for most popular riders with fans, I mean, you guys would always be at the top just for your personality and what you bring to the sport on and off the track, and those just the people that make you smile. But with you, what I've always admired is the smile, but the balance in your life. You've always balanced between, cars and fishing and all of your other interests. You've never been defined. You've never been that RC that hated the world and was so invested in, and he's regretted that. I mean, he said it on our show and many other shows that, he wasn't even himself in those focused years because he was so focused on racing, and you never let that get away. You've always maintained a balanced life, and maybe that's why you can still do this and still have a love.
Yeah, no, it is like having that, that balance is obviously key to continue to keep doing, what you love to do, but also have fun doing it too. And you see me grow up as a kid.
Yeah.
Like I was always that kid that was just smiling, and you were like, I don't even know if he's even going to race, that, and that's kind of was me. I was like, is he even going to race or is he just here to have fun? And I think that's just define who I am as a person. And I just want to go out there and do the best I can, but also, have fun doing what I love to do. And I think that's what, again, yeah. Do I regret anything that I should have took it more serious or anything like that? Absolutely not. I've been more blessed and thankful that the journey that I've had, I'd rather take what I've had than just continue to keep winning championships and be miserable. There's guys that out there that just win, and probably one of the most miserable people on the planet. So
absolutely.
At least for me, I think that's what I said. My win was so much more inspirational about it. Because I just think it was it's just like, man, who would have thought that kid would have actually got it done?
Hey, when Earnhardt finally won the Daytona 500 and all the crew chiefs and pit crews came out and held their hand up for him coming down pit lane, that's kind of how I felt with this. Is like all riders, regardless of them being your competition or whatever, I kind of felt like every team, everybody just knew what this meant to you, your family, and the sport in general, and to fans. I felt that was collective.
Yeah, and it's like moments that you'll never forget. Like as racers, when they first finally win their first race and things like that, like I'll never forget when Andrew Short won his first race in 2012 Seattle. Like that's a cool moment, or when Nathan Ramsey won his in Pontiac, like it's just special key moments that, when you see guys like that, and even, last year, Aaron Plessinger, like no matter, who's your teammate, not your teammate, you just like, man, that was a cool deal.
Yeah.
And I think that is what makes it so special.
Yeah, that is so cool. And that's why, with interviews and things like that, you've always remained consistent. You talk about people, I knew Villapoto since he was 9 or 10 years old too. And I don't think he smiled the last 2 years of his career. Like you could just tell he dude, it was sad because he was a funny kid, a good kid, you get into that grind and he was miserable. They'd interview him for when, and he'd just be like, okay, but then you kind of got to see his personality come out after he retired because he was so in that. And so, you could literally destroy yourself being that focused on nothing but winning in life.
Yeah, and I think that's and then again, there's a fine balance of that. And you look at Ryan now, and just like you said, it's like two totally different guys. I'm like, man, I remember when you were racing my brother, and you were like, I felt like when you looked at me, you looked through me. Like I was like,
yes,
hey, Ryan, I'm not racing you or anything. I'm no competition. I'm just a friend, And I was just like, now he looks at, he goes out of his way, he speaks to me, and it's so cool to see that on the other side, right? And when guys retire and things like that. So yeah, I think when you're in the race, you get caught up in the moment and things like that. But it's also the when you're, don't get me wrong, like Ryan was very, very, very successful too, So it's kind of, I guess, give and take, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, you have to be the coolest uncle. Are your nephews old enough? They're going to remember this, right? That's one of those ones where they can hopefully old enough to remember that night.
Yeah, they remember that night, and I always give them a hard time. I said, hey, when I bought you guys some RC cars for Christmas, I hope you guys didn't tear them up. They're like, we didn't tear them up. Not yet. I'm like, what? So I always give them a hard time. I say, hey, those RC cars are still running. They're like, yeah. But Uncle Malk, we one of the wheels fell off. I'm like, oh boy,
they're Stewarts. They're Stewarts. They're going to tear some shit up. That's good. Have they caught have they gone fish with you? Have they caught the fishing bug? Anything yet? No,
they want to go fishing. I haven't taken them fishing because I'm more worried about them losing the pole. So I'm trying to get them to understand a little bit. They just and I'm not gonna lie, when you're your kids, they just swinging the rod and they have no thought of like who's behind them or anything like that. So when I'm fishing, I'm more worried about the hook getting caught than anything. So yeah, so I'm not even worried about catching the fish. I'm more worried about dodging hooks and stuff.
Yeah, and losing a rod over in 150 feet of water.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, just so you know, you drop this thing, it's over. So and I ain't going to go get it.
That's it. Hey, are the Buccaneers your NFL team?
No, my mom is. My mom's a Bucs fan. We have a lot of family members of Bucs, but we have season tickets, so we go to the Bucs Stadium all the time and watch the Bucs. We love sports, man. Like that's our thing. I'm a Raiders fan, but I ain't gonna be taking no flight up there to. Unfortunately, I ain't gonna like to say it, but to watch the Raiders lose, we ain't really have a winning streak in a while.
And not only that, you might get your ass beat for no reason in the stands. LA has some gnarly fans.
Well, good news is we all moved to Vegas now, so I think we're mediocre now, so
that's true.
We're dealing with a bunch of rich folks that are gambling now.
Yeah, so that is so true. We're dealing with. We're not in the Coliseum in the black hole where you got to worry about, if you get in there, you may get shanked in the corner, you know. How have you guys done in free agency? Have you followed it this week? It's kind of a lot of stuff's happening. You got Crosby back.
A lot of money's been getting spent. That's what it is.
Dude, you see Allen's Buffalo these numbers are like video game numbers.
Yeah, honestly, when I sit here and look at that, I'm just like, is this not even worth it at this point? Like, where are you guys getting the money? You know what? Y'all need to take some of that money and spread it out through the industry for us so we can start getting paid more.
I know.
I said, I'm still in my prime. I think I can be a linebacker,
Hey, who were you standing next to in Detroit? Who was that NFL player that came out for the race? Was there?
That was Kenny Moore. He's actually a cornerback.
Oh, cornerback.
Number one cornerback for the Colts. He came around. I think he was at Foxborough.
Okay.
A few others. He's cool. Really, really cool, chilled guy. I think he lives in Florida somewhere, and just a real cool guy. But that's the second time I ever met him. But yeah, nice dude. He's cool.
But my point is, you standing next to him, you're the only one riding that could be an NFL player too. You're the only dude that could line up on an Anaheim 1 and in a NFL combine size wise.
I think when I look at AP has I think he could be a quarterback. I think AP could be a quarterback. Kind of tall, a little bit, lanky arms. I think he could be a quarterback.
Yeah, but I watched him run in Alden's 40-yard dash, and he looked like
you're right. He definitely get tackled.
He has no he has no scrambling
He would
skill.
definitely get tackled, 100%.
Hey,
you're right.
RJ told me everyone got hurt in that 40-yard dash somehow. You all are not meant to sprint.
No, I threw my back out.
Yeah.
I'll be first one to admit. Yeah, I was hurting. I threw my back out after that. That was the longest 5 seconds that I had. But I was so determined, and it's so funny because you should have seen me and RJ out there. We were warming up.
Yeah.
After the 30-minute miles, we were out there warming up, stretching, doing everything we do the high kicks and all that, and we go out there and I threw my back out. We were kind of cracking up, but it was so funny because we're in the gym. So we had to do gym right after that. We were all like bending over, trying to oh, dude, I can't even lift the dumbbells up. Yeah. And Alvin's over there looking at us, laughing and stuff like that. But we all called Dr. G like, hey, G, I know you're coming Friday, but we all need adjustments right now.
Literally this second.
So it was a good time. But no, me and RJ said we're gonna. What we need to do is, I think we got cold. That's what it was. We need to do it right after riding while we're still hot.
Yeah.
So.
Did you or James ever play like Little League baseball or do any other sport besides dirt bikes? That was it.
No, just dirt bikes.
Okay.
But I like to think I could strike anybody out. I like to think that.
Okay. Well,
but yeah, I actually, you know what? Knowing my luck, I never done the first pitch at any of an MLB game, but I probably, knowing my luck, I'll probably get nervous. And you see the bloopers all the time, and people only coming close over there.
That's a lot of pressure.
Oh, it's not that far. You just throw over the net, over the base. Sorry, and probably wouldn't even come close.
Right to the backstop. There's no doubt, and then that would be a meme on Vital, and then that'd be part of your legacy, is hitting the backstop.
Yeah, well, usually what happens is they always say don't bounce it.
Right. Anything but bounce it.
Because they rather have it just throw it higher than bounce it. And I'm sitting there, I guarantee, because you're on the pitcher's mound, but when you're on it, you got to throw down.
Sure.
So, yeah, I'd probably bounce it. That's just my luck.
What are your fishing plans this weekend? You have a weekend off of racing, so what are you going to do?
What do you think I'm going to do?
I mean, tell me your plan. You already have where you're going out in the ocean? Do you already have it laid out? You're just going to wing it? I mean, what are the plans?
Well, for sure, Saturday doesn't look that good with the wind conditions. So,
okay.
I'm going to try to go out Friday for sure.
Okay. Before that system moves in, yeah.
Yep. So that's the goal. Saturday doesn't look that good offshore, but we may do some inland stuff. But put it this way, I'm going fishing regardless.
Yeah, you got to maximize. No matter how
you look at it, I'm going to do something in the water.
Yeah.
And pretty much, and then after that, Sunday, we're going to do some. I got a little get together with the family.
Good.
A lot of the family members that came to Tampa, and family and friends, I didn't really get to see. That just because we've been at work, and you go to the race, you're at work, you only get to see him for a split second. You got to go out there and do your job. So I feel like I'm going to bring some of the family members are going to come back and circle back around, and we're going to have a little kickback barbecue Sunday.
All right. How are you driving in no wake zones? Are you good? Do you like pin it with 50 yards to go and just risk getting a ticket?
No. As far as that, I'm all good. I just can't stand guys that do jet skis. Jet skis.
Yeah, they're like little gnats.
And well, not only that, but I'm just when you see jet skis, and don't get me wrong, they come in a group. Okay, all right. That's how jet ski guys. It's not just one jet ski. They come in a group, and when they do, they think they run the water. You know, it's like, and the boat ramps too. They all think they run the water, and the boat ramps. It's just becomes too much, and they're always crossing because what they want to do is they want to jump the wake behind you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're basically looking for you for their hits all day.
Yeah, that's it. That's pretty much where I'm just like, come on, man.
Hey,
you know, it's funny. I think back to it. I was that kid one day at one point. You know.
Yeah, you can't be.
I was part of that same guy at one point.
You can't be the grumpy old dude that says "Get off my lawn" at 30, couple years old now.
No. See, I'm not like that. To me, when I see somebody like fishing and stuff like that, even come behind me in the house, backed up on a pond, and some people come behind our pond and come on our kind of on our yard, but really not our yard because it's whatever. But I get neighbors like, "Oh, you can't be back here. It's my yard." I'm looking. I'm like, "Dude, you got a gate, all right? Like, what you talking about? That kid's outside the gate. Like, what do you mean?
Literally."
I'm like, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna call the cops," and I usually walk out there and I'm like, "Hey, I say, hey, buddy, you can come in my yard if you want to." I say, even though it's not my yard,
yeah,
it ain't his yard either, but you can come in this little box if you want to.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, my neighbors ain't. They don't really like me, but I don't really like them either. So it is what it is.
How can you not like Malcolm's? I mean, what is because they're old, grumpy dudes?
Well, it's actually a kind of funny story. So my neighborhood is one of the guys that I bought my house when I purchased my house here.
Yeah,
used to be cousins with the guy that I bought my house to.
Okay, relative.
I guess, right? Yeah. Well, apparently he didn't like the guy. The cousin didn't like the guy that's to the right of me. So I'm stuck in the middle of two guys that really don't like each other. So that's kind of what it is. So basically, I'll go out and take my trash out in the morning. "Oh, hey, Malcolm, hey, how you doing?" And then, "Oh, hey, Malcolm, hey, how you doing?" And then when they two look at each other, they don't speak. And I'm kind of like looking at both of them. I'm just like, well, this is awkward. Let me go inside, And they're always calling that's unfortunately, I hate to say I live in this community, but yeah. HOAs, nobody loves HOAs, but yeah. They always call the little police car HOA security guy, and they're always calling on each other. And then I get the security guard to knock on my door and say, "Hey, did you see this? What happened?" I'm like, "Dude, leave me out of this." So I'm stuck in the middle of it, basically. That's where it's at.
That's like being between Barsha and Plessinger after they take each other out on the starting game. Like it's like you're the guy at the bottom in between.
I stay far away from that, man. I stay far away from all that nonsense. My job is go out there, keep the two wheels up, try to stay away from all the carnage, and me and Barsha, we kind of share the truck together a lither bit. So I'm always like, "Hey, man, like I know you may feel bam, but when you see a white bike, just back her down a little bit." He's like, "No, I got you." I'm like, "All right, cool. As long as we stay like that, we all good."
That is, hey, and you're doing all the politicking off the bike. That's when you make peace off the bike.
Yeah. I'm like, dude, we sit next to each other during the week, Yeah. So but he's been super cool, He's actually and he's always been a nice guy, off the bike and all those things like that. Yeah, we had a couple run-ins and things like that, but you always try to think positive and just hope for the best for both of us.
The only one I could is Anderson. You and Anderson have a history. That's the only rider that you have a history with, right?
Yeah, no, and me and him, we all had some runs too,
Yeah.
I think I've had some runs with maybe a few guys out there, but yeah, him. I think more than once is probably me and Anderson and me and Barsha. Unfortunately, I hate to say that, but now I think I feel like I would say like now that we're older, and things like that. I like to say that hopefully that tension is gone, but all it takes is one. We're all one step away.
One podium, baby.
Refine it. Yeah, I was going to say we're all one step, one takeout away from firing this thing back up again. So,
dude, I've known them both for a long time. I would not trust either one of them sons of bitches in the last corner of anything. Nothing. I wouldn't trust him anything.
If it was for, hey, look, I can't be mad if it was for a takeout. If you're going to take me out for a win.
Yeah.
Okay? But don't take me out for seventh place.
Right. Or
That's
fastest lap.
Don't
practice.
Like we're still a long ways from the podium. All right. So don't take me out for seventh place. But if you're going to take me out for the win, I have to swallow that.
Hey, for
the win, last lap. Don't take me out with 2 laps to go.
Exactly. You know? Yeah, give me a chance to come back. Don't give me
a chance where at least if it's on the last lap, I can maybe pick my bike up and maybe still get on the box.
Yeah.
But if you're don't clean me out for 7th, and both of us are going to be in. Because if I do catch you, we're going to be back in 15th because I'm going to take you out.
and you've earned that. I mean, that's the one thing about you. Your physical menace. You've always been that presence. You've always been a big dude. No matter what, nobody's going to throw hands at you. Nobody's going to Weston Pike you. So that's the one good thing. They might block past you, take your front tire out, but nobody's going to bump chest with you on the track.
No, I try not to. And then I don't want you get mad enough, and I would hate to fight off after the track too. On the fish fight because who knows how that's going to be. Yeah. But at the end of the day, we just try to be cool, man. But you are right; it's just one takeout away, and everything's back firing up, and that can happen to anybody.
Hey, have you ever, when you first started launching your own boat and getting the trailer back, have you ever messed up launching or recovering your boat down there when everybody's in line waiting?
I've had the battery die. I had one time I didn't put the plug in. I had one time I went to go load it on the trailer and the boat slipped off the trailer.
Yeah. Okay. Well, see, that's the normal stuff. That's
yeah. I've had some bloopers, but all that stuff was before really nobody was taking videos. Now that happens. But hey, you know what? I was also. I would say trying to do all this at 16, 17 years old. As soon as I got my driver's license, trying to load up a 21-foot boat by yourself.
Exactly.
So I was young, man. I didn't know. I probably shouldn't have been doing it, but I was doing it anyway. And Dad trusted me, so
hey, it's like going to a track.
My dad told me you got to learn the hard way. So
exactly.
I did, and I had to pay for a lot of money. So I had to go back to racing.
It's like when you go to a local track and you watch dudes, try to load a bike in the back of a pickup truck. We all make our mistakes. But last year I thought of you. A guy shows up in this brand new Range Rover with a new nitro bass boat on the back, and he could not back it into the lake, Malcolm. I had to get into it.
I can back a boat in.
I know.
I can back anything in. But
can you imagine?
Oh, that sucks.
But I had to back it in for him, and he had his wife with him. So can you imagine the embarrassment of having all that nice shit, bringing it to the lake, and then not being able to back? He kept jackknifing his bass boat, and it wasn't even a huge one. And so it was I said, dude, let me get. I did not want him to jackknife that boat and rip the fender off that Land Rover. But that's one of the funniest things, and I'm in the fishing community too, is watching dudes launch, and especially when there's a line, like when it's like one ramp,
buddy,
and you got like 90 seconds.
A lot of pressure. Well, especially the hardest thing is when you're doing that, and then what makes it even worse is whenever the boat ramp is big enough to where you can launch 2 boats at once.
Oh, that's scary.
And you get that one guy that takes up the whole ramp.
Yep, right down the middle. Right down the middle.
Oh, buddy, that drives me nuts. So, usually I'm pretty cool. I try to help people out especially if I know they're they're doing it solo. I try to go over there and try to, hey, you want me to hold your boat?
Yeah,
or, things like that. So at least I try to help people out, and depending on the boat ramp. But if you get guys that go in there, especially, we have one guy this is probably a year ago now. This is a local boat ramp, and he cut the line. And buddy, he cut that. And let me guess. And just guess exactly what it was. A jet ski guy. He cut that line, and you talking about something. He talking about somebody got lit up. He got lit up, and so he went to go. I'll never forget this. He pulled his jet ski out and tied it up. And when he tied it up so close to where people couldn't even back the boat in. Somebody untied it. I literally watched somebody untie his ski and push it out.
That is.
He had to go swim and go get it.
Dude, jet skis are the quads of the water.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Don't get me wrong. And I respect the quad now, because if you roll one of them damn things, boy, that's a lot of weight on you. But yeah, no, dude, straight up, he just cut everybody, and we were like, all right, we'll fix him. So we waited, and by the time he pulled up to pulled out,
he was swimming.
He was swimming. He had to go swim to get his ski, and nobody said anything.
I love it.
Kept on going.
I love it. Hey, you're the only one of all the riders over 20 whatever years that I've ever text fishing pictures to. But it's such a cool community. Like when I catch one, there's especially like a big catfish or a bass or something. It's like you want to share that, and it's like,
heck yeah!
It's like
I get people that come in. Some kid came up to me this past week in the Indy. Gave me a pack of worms that had MS 270, 27 on it. Like, it was pretty cool.
Oh, that is cool. That is awesome.
Dude, I get people that show me, give me make custom lures. I had somebody that made like this figure of me, like out of metal, me catching a fish. Dude, I got some really, really cool stuff
that is
over the
gnarly.
years. And I told myself I'm going to make a table. I've been keeping everything. I got photos. People print out photos of me, like of me fishing, and just really cool capture moments. And usually when people do that stuff, I give them a pair of goggles or something cool like that, and I'm like, whatever. And because I think and that's the thing, the special thing about the racing is you get to interact with your fans a lot more than I feel like any other sport, right? And I think that's the cool thing about racing is, like, I go to these, I'm meeting a lot of random people that are here for supporting Mookie that are in that line, right? And, the fact that they go out their way and they do these little, whether if it's, making some type of fishing lure or a line or giving me a fishing rod. And I've got everything. I think that's a real true fan, right?
That is neat.
To go out their way and do that. And, a lot of that stuff I save. I don't even fish with it. I just save it because I looked at it as a big collector's item. Like, you went out of your way to do that. Like, that's pretty badass.
Dude, that is so. If I'm in line, if I'm sitting there signing all the autographs and I get a bunch of Yamamoto or Berkeley power bait worm, I'm like, score. But I mean, you're right. That's a personal thing. They hauled that. They made it. They did whatever. They haul it to the track. They stand in your line. They wait for that interaction, and it pays off. That you just told them how much that means.
No, it means more to me than it probably did to them. It's that's the cool thing about it, and I think that's why I love my fans. I love going to the races, and that's just a true fan that follows you, right? Yeah. That's the cool thing about it.
Did you, not to drag you into a controversy or anything, but did you see that video that was just posted of Deegan? I guess he was signing autographs, not looking at people, and the kid was kind of like crushed. And I'm like, I know you guys signed zillions of autographs, but every single one means something. I mean, when you get to that one kid at the end of the line, I mean, he stood in line for. I mean, he wants you to look at him. He wants you to like smile, interact. Just something.
Yeah, I mean, we always try to, do the best we can and sign autographs. And sometimes, and I'll be the first one to admit, sometimes, you have it could be a bad practice and you let some emotion get to you. And then you're like, oh, I got to go out here and sign autographs or whatever. And, or somebody may have made him mad or upset and things like that. And so, I mean, I'm not going to be the first one to admit, I've came across some upsetting moments while still trying to put on a poker face and be smiling, towards people. But again, man, you have a job to do, right? And your job is to go out there and do the best you can. But also too, like, your job is also to make people happy, to buy your product and sell what the sponsors are on your motorcycle, right? So I understand that, and I always try to be my best and be the best I can. And I never run into those types of situations, but I have in my past. But I'm so happy that, it don't really matter. Ain't nothing really going to bring me down.
You're the one guarantee smile in the autograph line. Hey, have you got any? I'm
always smiling.
Have you got any new cars? I remember the SS and the truck and the Nomad. Have you done any new projects?
No, just steady, just working on, I mean, honestly, my dad, my no man's going to take a while. We said that a year ago. My dad he put my car aside and started doing other projects. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, okay. Now we're getting to the bottom of it. Okay.
Yeah, he put my project to the side and he started doing other projects and then it's funny that you say that because he said something to me about it the other day. He was like, "Hey, you want to start getting back on that project?" And I'm just like, kind of hard for you to say that when I'm sitting here looking at 3 cars that are unfinished that you got to still do. So I said, when's do I need to get on the waiting list for the next year?
That's it.
So he said, that's pretty much it. So I'm not worried about it. I got my cars that I want to drive to this, right now. And whenever he's ready for me, we'll get back onto it.
That's awesome. Hey, we'll give you the Dunlop 5 questions and get you out of here, man. Thank you so much for doing this as always. Make sure you check out Dunlop on all their socials at Ride Dunlop. I've said, asked this question at all the riders, and RJ, of course, had the most boring answer. But what was your first car? Like literally your first car when that was yours?
My very first car. My brother gave me a 05. It was a 05 Harley Davidson edition F-150.
Okay, well that's a badass first car.
Dude, that was sweet, bro.
Yeah.
And then I tricked that thing out.
Yeah.
I put some 37s, had that thing bulldog style on it, put some Magnaflows on the back of that thing. Woo! You know what? You're going to make me go get on the internet. I'm about to go on Facebook Marketplace, start looking for that thing.
Hey, that was a very limited run truck right there.
It was, dude. I regret selling that thing, too.
Oh, no. All right. If you get one, you got to let me know you got one.
I'm going to be on the search.
All right. What is the fastest car you've ever owned? You ever like a modern one or what's like? I had an R8. I bought an R8 in 2012. Bought an R8 in 2012. That's a dangerous vehicle right there. That's fast.
Yeah, well, I bought it, and I put 2,700 miles on it.
That's it?
That's it. And, yeah, I just sold it like COVID, actually, and pretty much made, I made a lot of money back out.
Oh, those things were rare, yeah.
It was the only car, at that time, it was the only car in the nation that had that lower miles on that specific year.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
hey, that's an investment.
Really I didn't drive it. I was like, wait, I changed the battery 3 times on that thing. Could you imagine how much the batteries cost on those stupid things?
That's ridiculous.
I call them crinkle cars.
Yeah. That is ridiculous. All right, hey, do you ever talk to guys on the starting line?
Yeah, we usually joke around. We'll always say, fortunately, sometimes we see guys Indo or something like that. We're like, well, that's a bad line. Might want to avoid that one on parade lap.
Okay.
So we always joke around and mechanics and stuff. Changing teams and things like that. So
good for you.
I think the cool thing about it, and I think that, if you ever notice now, everybody has to start the race down all the way to the dang floor on the fork. So getting the guy to pretty much do your own start device is pretty hard. So usually you get, and that's the mutual respect is you try to be cool with everybody and, get the mechanic to kind of help you out, another mechanic to help you out. So usually it's always, two mechanics usually helping one rider and vice versa.
Good,
and I think that's how the conversation starts to bring it up.
All right. What was the first autograph you remember getting from somebody or asking for them?
Like me asking for them?
Like as a kid, like asking for an autograph as a kid. Do you remember who was that? If you ever did. I don't even know.
Oh, yeah. King Griffey Jr.
Oh,
yeah, King Griffey Jr.
Well, that was a Hall of Fame. What a hell of a first autograph.
Well, at the time I was so young, I didn't really know who he was. And then I got on, pulled up my old Gateway Microsoft computer back in the day.
Gateway.
I had to bring it back, Gateway, baby.
Dude, that's awesome.
But I had to get on that and got on Google at the time and found out who he was. Yeah. He was some famous baseball player at the time.
He's
just some famous guy.
He's a big deal.
Like, dude, that's like the first famous guy I ever met that didn't ride a motorcycle. So I thought he was like God, Yeah,
because
at the time, now, if I would have met, like, I was in that WWE back in the day. So if I would have, saw like Big Show, Booker T, The Rock, that was my thing.
Yeah. Do you watch any? Do you watch anymore? Do you watch wrestling anymore?
Not really. If I see it here and there, I'll watch it for a little bit. But
dude, it's not the same. It's not like back in our time.
Nah, it ain't the same. But I was all about that SmackDown, boy. Booker T, that was my guy.
Oh, Booker T was a badass.
Probably because he was the only black guy that was really hot. Pretty much. Let's just go ahead and get that out of the way.
Hey, but still,
he was pretty much the only black guy that was like in the running that actually could do something out there.
Yeah.
I was always pulling for him.
I like Booker too. He was
Booker. No, he was cool. Triple H, that was no one. Everybody loved Kane. I still to this day I remember every single song because I remember all the intros walking in, boy. So I actually on Instagram there's somebody who posts old school videos back in like 2000 and 2000 or 98, SmackDown and old school, and I get on that, and I'll start geeking out, and I'll send that to my buddies, like, bro, remember this time, and when he had the Royal Rumble, yeah. So trust me, I know it all. We were SmackDown, baby.
Oh my God, that is bringing back so many memories because if you think about it, that was the highlight of wrestling.
That was the heyday.
Yeah, it was never been better.
Yeah, no, yeah, you couldn't get anything better than that.
Hey, I remember when he was Batista? Didn't he wrestle Batista in Elimination? I mean, I remember that was a long, long time ago. But Booker I loved how he was always a contender. I mean, they always had him in the premier matches.
Yeah, them and you had the Hardy Boys.
Oh yeah,
Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy. Yeah, come on, I know my names now.
Oh, you do.
I used to play SmackDown Raw on PlayStation back in the day. That was me.
Oh,
everybody wanted to be The Rock, but I was like, nah, I'm going to be The Undertaker.
Oh, that dude was creepy. He was always creepy.
Yeah, he was. But that's why everybody was scared of him. Big Show, that was a big boy.
Yeah. Yeah, Bret Hart and Booker. I mean, those were. We should have talked about this from the beginning because we could do a whole show on 2000s wrestling.
Dude, I'm telling you, it's funny, like me and Aaron Plessinger, we talk about that stuff too, we were like, man, we remember like wrestling. I mean, when you're a kid, that's all you did. Like that's all you wanted to see.
Yeah.
I was trying to do the suplex on somebody.
Yeah.
Oh, so funny.
Can you imagine the stuff they got away with, especially with the girl wrestlers and the stuff back then? Like that would shut down networks now. That was like for kids, for teenage boys, that was like the best thing ever with all the girl storylines. I mean, it's like, this is like our dream. This is our heaven right here.
Oh, it was insane. Trust me. It was, yeah. If I knew what I knew when I was older, I should have just put more money into that foundation and kept those guys.
Kept them going. Yeah, kept them going for sure. Well,
kept them going.
Well, Malcolm, it is a joy, man. I only hit you up every once a year or so because, I mean, you have been, I know that when we started out, we were the only podcast, and now there's 75, probably a year popping up. So, man, thank you for your time. This is always just a great interview. Always enjoy you watch growing up, and then of course your career right now, man. You're just one of those guys that makes the sport better, and we're all better for you being in it. And I mean that sincerely.
No, I appreciate it, and thank you for always getting me on, and it's always good times talking with you, especially when we get reconnected to the races too.
Yeah, and it's an off week, so enjoy it. I hope you get some good fishing this week. Enjoy the time with your family, man, and good luck in Birmingham the rest of the way out. We'll be following it.
Okay, appreciate it. No, thank you guys for having me.
Peace. Thanks, Malcolm.
Yeah.
All right, there we go. Malcolm Stewart. Oh my gosh. Can we just have more of him all the time? And I do. I mean, we send fishing pictures back and forth all year long because that's one of our connections, and it's so cool that that he still is just the same kid that he was. That I met him on his golf cart. His dad gave me a ride in a golf cart at Loretta Lynn's, and Malcolm was probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old, maybe 8 years old, and he had a fishing pole, and he didn't say a word the whole ride on the golf cart. But that's the first time I met Malcolm Stewart, and all these years later, it's good to see his success and where he is in the sport. So thanks for tuning in, guys. Our sponsors again, Racer X MX Sports had a great time down there at Ricky Carmichael's Emerson Supercross in Daytona for their 16th year, calling that. It was great to get the MX Sports family together for that as well. They're doing the GNC season. Of course, the Loretta qualifiers are kicking off right now this spring too. So the road to Loretta's begins. W Wheels, best wheels in the business. OGO Concept, 2 rowers, and of course, the great folks at Dunlop Tires. Check them out at Ride Dunlop. DMXS, we're back when we're back.
What's up, guys? This is Justin Brayton, David Iser, and Kevin Keller, a bunch of clowns. You can go ahead and turn your radio off now.
You listen to us because we are motorcycle guys. You might even call us gurus. We are awesome.
I've been called a lot worse than that, Kevin Kelly.
Yeah, we're the guys. We know everything. I know everything about you. I know everything about movies. I know everything about the space shuttle launches and the crashes. Everything.
And because you turn to us for motorcycle knowledge, we only tell you about what's the best, Kevin, because our spotless reputation that we've built for 16 years is on the line. That's why.
Yeah, and I would not risk my crappy reputation on just anybody. That's why we are telling you about Dunlop Tires. It's what we have on our bikes. I have a fleet of motorcycles, and they all have fresh, crispy Dunlops on them. If the pros have them, you know us amateurs are going to have them. They're good enough for them. They got to think they're good enough for us to door.
Too good for Dunlops, you're a tire snob. We want nothing to do with you.
Yeah, good luck with that. But not just the pros use them. Everyday riders agree, and they have the testing to back it up. You can't beat the quality of Dunlop motorcycle tires.
Let's wrap this bad boy up, Kevin. Whether you're on the dirt, the road, or the track, you can depend on Dunlop. To learn more about their products, visit DunlopMotorcycleTires.com or your local pro dealer. The amateur guys are working their way up. Go to a Dunlop pro dealer. Check them out. We love them. You will too.
Get ready, America, because WUSA is your #1 source for quality wheel sets in America. WUSA offers all the top brands that you and the world's best racers know and trust, like Reed, Dungey, Millsaps, Tickle, Sealy, Short, and more. All rely and trust WUSA, because all our wheels are built right in our shop in Orange, California. And if you want it custom made for your bike, like the world's best freestyle riders, Renner, Deegan, Adams, Madison, Mason, Sherwood, and others, you can choose different spoke and nipple colors for a completely custom look that'll dazzle you. Off-road riding, WUSA can build you wheels for the absolute toughest of conditions. And W also offers DID and Excel rims, along with OEM replacement spoke and nipple kits for your stock hubs. Need brakes? W offers the industry's best oversized and standard brake kits from Galfer and Brembo. Just see your local dealer or visit us at WUSA.com. Hey, you can also download the most current W catalog from the iTunes App Store. WUSA, DUBYA USA. It doesn't get any better than us.
It's the cry of the lion, the burning in your soul, and it's the feeling that you get